Okay, so we're starting chapter 9. So up until now, we learned many different terms and many different concepts. And now all of a sudden, we're taking all the pieces of the puzzle and we're starting to put it together, and we're starting to, see how it all plays out in our lives. Okay. So the one of the main concepts that we learned until now is that we're not welcome. It's not that we're one person with a Yetzer Hara and a Yetzer Tov, but rather, what's really going on is exactly what's going on in Parshas Toldos with Rivka. Rivka wanted children for many, many years. Finally, she became pregnant, and she was so confused because it says Vayisreitetzu habanim. She had twins inside of her, and they were struggling. She didn't know it was two. It was two, and she was very concerned. Why is that? Every time she walks by a house of idol worship, she feels kicking, kicking, kicking. Every time she walks by a shul or a house of Torah study, she feels kicking. And although she wanted these babies so badly, when she saw what's going on, she said, "Vataymer im kain lama ze anaychi." If this is how it's going to be, what do I need this for? She waited so long to have children, and now she's like, what do I need this for? If I'm going to have a baby that's so confused that 1 minute wants to go serve Zeus and the next minute wants to serve Hashem, what do I need this for? And it says, "Vatelech lidresh es Hashem." She went to ask advice. She went to a prophet to ask advice. She went to the yeshiva of Shem and Eber and asked for advice. And what was she told? That you have two superpowers inside of you, and they are going to constantly struggle with each other. And in the end, the older one is going to serve the younger one. And that calmed her down, and she went home. Now, this story has a very deep lesson for us, because this is our story. Often we ask ourselves, who is the real me? 1 minute, I'll come to a Tanya class and I'm all inspired. And then, an hour or two later, I could be in a different mode, a different mood, doing something else, wasting time, or, doing something that's just selfish or for myself. And so who am I? Who am I? And the answer is that we're not one being, but rather we have two parts of us. And our body is like a city, and there are two kings that are vying for power to control the city at any given moment. So when I say, who am I? Who is to say that there's only one answer to that question? But rather, there are two parts to me. I have an animal soul and I have a godly soul. And there are two kings inside of me. It's not that there's one me with a Yetzer Tov and Yetzer Hara, but rather the Yetzer Tov and the Yetzer Hara are both an emotional part of the animal soul. And then there's a godly soul. And we discussed at length the main difference between the godly soul and the animal soul is the animal soul is all about me. It's selfish. It's instinct, it's survival. And while the godly soul is all about Hashem. That's the difference. Selfless or selfish. The animal soul is not evil. It's just self-interested, versus the godly soul, which is all about Hashem. And these two souls are fighting, struggling inside of us at every minute. Now, if every time I did something good, I felt good, and every time I did something bad, I felt bad, then I would still have free choice, but life would be easier. Life would be easy, black and white, and everything would be simple. Problem is that a lot of times I want to do the right thing, but I don't know who's talking. Is it my animal soul who's talking, or is it my godly soul who's talking? I really don't know. And what we're going to try to learn today is some tools to be able to figure out who's talking. From the simplest thing, the other day, it was Tuesday, and the babysitter sends a text that she's taking some kind of exam and she's not coming until 12:30. And I know my kid, it does not do well with strangers. He knows his babysitter. He's happy to go to the babysitter, but if it's a substitute babysitter, he's going to be really upset. So right away I said, no, I'm not sending him. I'm not going to send him because he's going to be miserable. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, if I don't send him, then by the time the kids come home at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, whenever they get home, I'm not going to be as patient, and that I'm not going to have an opportunity to have supper ready, and. So what is the right answer? What is the right answer? I don't know. I don't know. So first I was like, for sure, I'm not sending him, and then I ended up sending him. Did I do the right thing? I don't know. I don't know. But so I'm saying these dilemmas come up, and you're like, what is the right thing? Here's another example. It's Shabbos, and you're for somehow you're able to go to shul, and you're in shul, and you sit down, and you have a siddur, and you're about to start davening, and you're happy that you finally have the opportunity to sit in shul and daven, and just as you're about to start davening, the door opens, and someone walks in and sits down right next to you. Now, this person is someone that is not familiar with the davening, and maybe, I don't know, maybe it's their first time coming to shul, and you have a choice. Do I say Baruch Shamar V'Haya Olam and now I can't talk? Or do I put my davening aside and say, I'm going to be welcoming to this person and show them the page and make them feel welcome? Which is the right thing to do? Who's talking? What are the voices? So this is what we have to figure out. Tools, clues to know who's talking. Okay. And we have to realize that the animal soul doesn't come and say, oh, do you want to do it? Let's do something. Let's do an Avera today. It's not going to work. We're not going to fall for it. The Yetzer Hara the animal soul could come dressed up as a frum person, or even as a chassid in a black hat and jacket, or a long coat, and it's not so obvious. It's not so obvious that's the animal soul. The Baal Shem Tov one time was during a Shabbos meal, and the Baal Shem Tov was able to show all his chassidim a vision, and they were able to see that everyone is sitting. They're able to see a vision of what's going on in heaven, and over there they're able to see that everyone is eating, and one person, instead of having a face of a human, was a face of an ox. He was so into his eating that it was a face of an ox. So here you have an ox dressed in the garb of a chassid. So this is what we're saying, that the animal soul could come dressed up and say, convince us that it's really, this is really a mitzvah, this is really something right, how is the person going to feel, la, 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 whatever, and could convince us that it's really the godly soul speaking, and sometimes you literally don't know which is which. And this chapter comes to tell us about this conflict, the nature of this conflict, and to tell us where the headquarters of the animal soul is, and where is the headquarters of the godly soul. And this is the first clue to tell us, for us to know if this thought, if this feeling is, which soul it's coming from. Okay. So we're going to start with the animal soul. Just like in the beginning of Tanya, we start with the animal soul. Why? Because the animal soul is the soul that we come in contact with first. When a baby is born, they don't automatically feel holy, but they do automatically feel hungry. Right? They do right away feel hungry. So we're going to first deal with the animal soul. Okay. So the animal soul, again, it's not evil. It gets its chayis, it gets its source from something called klipas noiga. Klipas noiga is is a peel or a shell that naturally interferes with our connection with Hashem, but it has the potential to be transformed and to have a little rehab and to be transformed and to be elevated to kedusha. So that's the source of the animal soul. It's not evil. It does have the potential to be elevated if we use it for the right reasons, but naturally it does hide and conceal our connection with Hashem. Okay, so this animal soul, where does it like to live? Where is it? It is in the left side of the heart. The left side of the heart. Okay, so we have a nurse here, so maybe you know more biology than I do. It's the most powerful part of the heart, and that is the part of the heart where the blood comes into the heart. That's a part of the heart that's always full of blood, versus the right side of the heart where the blood is being pumped out to the rest to go back to the rest of the body. So wherever there's a lot of blood, that is where the animal soul thrives. There's a verse that says, Ki nefesh habasar badam hi, which means the soul of the flesh. The animal soul is the soul of the flesh. Its job is to make sure that the body is taken care of. The soul of the flesh, which is the animal soul, is in the blood. Its objective, its purpose is to serve the flesh, to serve the physical body. While the nishkali soul, the animal soul, exists before the body was created and will exist after the person passes away. The godly soul is there forever. But this animal soul thrives in an environment that is driven by blood. Now, we discussed this. When you have strong emotion, it's very frequently associated with blood or with the heart. For example, my blood is boiling. My blood ran cold. Or my heart is full. Or my heart is broken. Or my heart is on fire. So whenever you have a feeling that your blood is boiling, or it's a feeling that's associated with your heart, that is clue number one. It's my animal soul talking. And so it's the way it operates, the operating reality of this animal soul is impulsive emotion. When you have an impulsive emotion, that is the animal soul talking. And why is it called an animal? Because animals, they don't work on their character. And animals don't start philosophizing, oh, I'm hungry. And if I devour this other animal, then I'm going to get the vitamins and the nutrients that I need in order to be healthy. There's no philosophical discussion. Animal is hungry, instinct, it kills it, it eats it, and finished. So and this is the story of the animal soul, that it's impulsive and it has a lot of emotion, and especially impulsive emotion is coming from the animal soul. Some people have a question. They say, "Oh, can I have a blood transfusion, or can I donate blood? If I donate blood, then maybe I'm giving my animal soul to someone else." But it's not the case. You could have, if God forbid a person needs blood or has to give blood, it doesn't mean that they're giving away their animal soul. But the animal soul thrives in blood, but it doesn't mean that you're giving away your nefesh, if you're donating blood. So
there are actually some very from fundamentalist Christian sects that they're not allowed to get a blood transfusion.
Wow.
They're more, I guess it's part of it, Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Even if their life is in danger.
Yeah, yeah. They make you just like they teach you Jews kosher, Muslims kosher, this is their thing.
Because it does say ki adam hu nefesh, that the blood is the soul, but it doesn't mean that the blood is literally a nefesh, but rather it means that the nefesh.
Comes from here.
What is it? Everything comes from Torah. So that it's just not. They're just not understanding it properly. But Okay. So any desire, any strong desire or a feeling of boastfulness or anger or yearning, you feel your heart racing, your heart yearning, your heart swelling with pride. All this is coming from
It could be
animal
spiritual
soul.
feelings that sound similar to what you're describing as well.
Okay, excellent. Okay, excellent point. So you're right. You're right that any time, any interaction, anything that happens, you're gonna have heart and brain. But the question is, what comes first? If the first thing, if the first reaction, the first thing is this instinct, is this impulsive emotion that's very, very strong, then it's the animal soul.
Even if it's a positive.
So we're going to see, when we talk about the godly soul, we're going to see how the godly soul works. And yes, there's going to be emotion as well. Okay. So Avas Hashem is obviously coming from the godly soul. And in 1 minute, we're going to talk about the godly soul.
First, your brain. There's sometimes you can listen to some music or you buy a beautiful davening and you feel that emotion.
Okay, so we have to be very, we're going to go deep. We're going to take this emotion and we're going to go very, very deep to dissect the emotion and to figure out the core, to figure out what is at the bottom of this, to figure out if it's where it's coming from. If I have a love for music,
and happens to move you quote unquote spiritually, doesn't mean that's in the nefesh.
Correct. Because the bottom line is it about me, what makes me feel good, or is it about Hashem? That's the bottom.
That's really the black and white of nefesh versus nefesh.
So for example, we're sitting, a Shabbos table is supposed to be, Nigunim and Divrei Torah and stuff like that. But sometimes there could be debates around the table. There could be other topics brought up. So imagine everyone's at the table, a lot of guests, and the discussion is about capital punishment. And there are different people by the table with different opinions. Now, there are some people at the table that they have a lot of rachmanis. And they can't understand or fathom this concept of capital punishment. It's true that person A murdered person B, but what benefit are you going to get from punishing person A and giving him the death penalty? You're not going to bring back the person that he killed, and maybe he could do teshuvah, and maybe he could feel bad, and maybe he could somehow get rehabilitated and be beneficial to people in society. Who knows? And then there could be other people at the table and say, no, we have people that are murderers, we have to just get rid of them. There's got to be strict, consequences. And then maybe this will prevent other people from if they know there's capital punishment, they'll prevent them from doing from murdering. And then each group or each, the two opinions, each one, they have their opinion. And then they're going to give you proof from Torah to back them up. And you can find proofs this way, you can find proofs that way from Torah. So ultimately, I have my opinion. And now I'm going to use Torah to back me up. So again, what is it? I'm using Torah for my selfish reasons because I need to prove that I'm right. So here you could even use Torah for yourself. For your selfish reasons to prove your opinion, to prove your point. So again, we're going to constantly go back to the same theme again and again, which is always going back to, is it about me or is it about Hashem? That's ultimately going to be the answer. Okay. So what happens with this animal soul? This strong impulsive emotion starts in the animal soul, and then it gets pumped to the rest of the body, including the brain, and then this animal soul tells the brain, now you have to work for me. I have a desire for this beautiful Coach handbag. And now, brain, I need you to help me strategize how I'm going to get what I want. You have to help me now figure out how I can get what I want. So it's heart first, brain second. That is a formula for the animal soul. The Dubner Maggid gives a mashal, and he says that he was the mashal is of a person that goes into a forest and he sees a whole bunch of trees, and the trees all have a target painted onto them, and there's an arrow in the bullseye of the target. Every single tree, there's an arrow exactly in the bullseye. So this guy is very curious. Who is the archer that's such a professional that always gets the arrow exactly in the bullseye? He finds the archer and he says, tell me, what's your secret? He says, very simple. First, I throw the arrow and then I paint around it. So that is exactly the animal soul. The animal soul, first I throw the arrow. This is what I want. This is what I desire. Now I'm going to draw circles around it and to try to figure out how to rationalize my desire.
I see it a lot with Shamir Salashim, and I've seen it, like, when a bunch of ladies sitting in a circle and say something, and then you're like, oh, but really you start like explaining why it's okay to have said that and the LS behind it. You're trying to find the reasoning, I guess, from the wrong source.
Yeah. Rationalize. Okay. Okay. Okay, so why is it that I say to myself, I had a really hard day, I'm just gonna have one piece of chocolate. And then before you know it, the whole bar of chocolate is gone. Or I'm just gonna watch one episode of something, and then before I know it, it's an hour later and I watched more than one episode. So what happens? There's an impulsive, undisciplined reaction. And what's going on today is that not only am I rationalizing my desire, that's not enough. Now I need the whole world to rationalize my desire. It's not enough for me to just rationalize it by myself. And in this world, we have such an explosion of an animal soul that everyone desires whatever they desire, and then they make the whole entire society has to conform with their desire, whether it be gender, whether it be anything. I decide what I decide, and now the whole world has to bow down and has to accept it. It's with peer pressure. My kids, after they're going to Chidon, and then after that they have a game show and everything, and then they're going to American Dream to the water park. So it was last year, or the year before. My kid said, and it's obviously all girls, right? We need a shvim kled for the water park. I was like, okay, $50 later, for each kid to get them the swim the tznius swim dress. And I was thinking to myself, is it so necessary? It's only girls and it's a swimming pool, and it's probably more comfortable to, not to have this long dress to swim in. But okay, that's what everyone is doing. That's the style. And I was like, okay, fine. At least, it's tznius, so let's go for it. And we did it. This year, my daughter comes and says, Ma, guess what? Someone in my class said that instead of bringing the shvim kled that we did the past 2 years, this year everyone should come in a short sleeve t-shirt. And I'm saying to myself, if one kid wants to come in a short sleeve t-shirt, okay, fine. I'm saying halakhically it's not problematic and it's more comfortable for you, I'm fine. But it's not enough for you to come with a short sleeve t-shirt. Now you have to get the whole entire class to conform and to follow your arrow. Something like that. Yeah. Today's the first day of spring. Okay, so when do we switch? When do we switch over? So that's the world that we live in. That's the world that we live in, that everyone has to like what I like. The new trend, it's not enough for me to buy what's new, to buy what's in. I need the whole class or the whole grade or the whole school to do it also. So we're living in a world where that Nefesh Habamis is very, very strong, and the Nefesh Habamis is really like taking over, and the struggle is to give the Nefesh Elokis a little bit of ear time, to get to a little bit to be able to express itself a little bit. Okay, so now let's go back to the example in the shul, right? Remember, you're sitting in shul and a person comes to sit next to you. How do I know who's speaking? So depends what my first thought or feeling is. I'm sitting in shul with my sitter, I'm about to daven, someone comes in. If the first thing that pops into my head is, oh no, I'm so holy. I got a babysitter to watch my kids. I could come to shul. I'm finally sitting down in shul, ready to daven. I'm really pumped to daven. This is my time to connect with Hashem, and I can't believe it that someone's just sitting next to me. So that is the animal soul talking.
What? Have to go against.
That's the first thought. Like sometimes the first thought is something else, and then the
It's
thought
not.
comes in after.
Yeah. So if the feeling that I have, if the feeling that I have is I'm holy, I want to be spiritual. It's not just which feeling comes first. It's also what it's saying. I'm holy, I'm spiritual, I want to daven.
Well,
And now there's a nuisance over here that I have to be nice to someone else. And so there are two voices. The voice says, I really want to daven. Again, it's I really want to daven.
That's harder for you, I guess.
So it's really
And-
going back to the source, again, same
Right.
thing as the first one, what's driving this,
Ultimately, it's what's driving
The
this.
babysitter example is not always clarity.
So basically, you have to go deeper, or maybe even consult with someone to help you go deeper to figure out what is behind these
Well,
two
that's what the
opinions.
babysitter example, okay, so let's say with the first, Mahala, where is this coming
So
from?
it's
What
all-
emotional- No, you don't always have that clarity.
Right. So you have to think deeper. So in my case, perhaps what was happening is my first intention was I'm keeping him home. Why? Because I need to be a good mother. I'm going to be a martyr. I need to be a good mother. I have to prove to myself what a wonderful mother I am, that I'm not going to allow my baby to scream for 5 seconds. And then
Let's think deeper.
and then there's another side, and that is if I keep my baby home, then I have to zoom out. If I keep my baby home, what's it going to look like for the rest of the family? For the rest of the
Might
family,
not sound as amazing on the paper, but right.
for the bigger picture. Sometimes I have to zoom out, and for the bigger picture, in order for this house to run smoothly, I need to have that break for a few hours because my baby is extremely clingy and I cannot get anything done when the baby's home. And then if I can't get anything done, and I'm not going to feel very good when supper's not ready, etc., etc. And then what is going to be the result? What is going to be the result? What's going to look like at 5 o'clock? What's going to be the result of my decision right now? Is it going to pull me down? Is it going to lift me up?
I want to have supper and I want to have a date that was productive.
Yeah.
You could do it both ways.
So it is
I
very
read
tricky.
Saying, but the initial.
It is very tricky. It is very tricky. So ultimately, we have to be honest with ourselves to really get down to the bottom of it and see where is there more of a.
Is there a way to do this the other way, meaning so you choose whichever one you
It's
think?
really whatever Hashem, it's really
And
what
then-
does Hashem want. It's not what makes me feel good or what I'll.
You don't always know what Hashem
It's
wants.
really just trying to find what Hashem
You
wants.
just don't always know. That's
That's why
true.
we need to earn the tongue, right?
We don't have it. Guess what, when we had it, it wasn't in your kitchen. You know what I'm saying? It's not meant for like the
Right,
babysitter,
right.
let's be honest, like. Yeah, Hashem put a certain amount of, gave us our own seichel, we have to learn how to use it correctly, I guess, but.
I think it's like a muscle that you develop, maybe, I don't know, just,
Yeah.
meaning the more you operate with that kind of awareness, like.
I think the opposite. I think like you try your best, you choose whichever option, and then you have to serve Hashem the best with the option you choose. You can't make yourself free and sit there for an hour thinking the core, what to babysit, now really, where's it coming from? Do what you kind of think is right. No, my rule is that like the rule that's
But
one of the opposite of what
yeah,
you
no,
said.
no, but what I'm saying is, yes, the best thing you could do, especially if you don't have an hour to contemplate which one to do, just at least put Hashem into the picture.
Sure.
Because that is, as you said, ultimately, it's what does Hashem want? It's ultimately what does Hashem want from me? And how can I serve Hashem best? How can I serve Hashem best? I could serve Hashem best if I send the kid if I send the baby to the babysitter, then I'm going to be able to serve Hashem better today. And that's ultimately what it is. Going back to Hashem. Going back to Hashem. That is really the measuring stick.
Is there always an objective right? Or as long as it's sort of like L'Shem Shemayim?
The objective right is Hashem. It's always going back to Hashem. So here the same thing is like this. If I want to daven and it's about me, then and I feel, oh my goodness, like what a nuisance that I have to, spend time with someone else, then the right thing to do is to put my davening aside and to be welcoming to the other person. However, if when the person comes, when the person walks in, I'm like, yay, I really didn't want to daven. I really want to socialize. And now, of course it's a mitzvah, to be nice to someone. So, let's talk. Then obviously the better thing is to be serious with your davening.
Because what's the objective truth? Are we supposed to be helping this person or not? Why is your feelings about it even in the picture?
Excellent. So the thing is, the same circumstance for one person, what the right thing to do could be different than for the next person. It's not. Yeah. For two. So I'm saying for.
Isn't there like an in between random, like something objectively good like that?
Yeah.
Sometimes I want to indulge my spirituality as well, or not.
So really,
when a person walks into shul and there's someone that needs help with davening, that's Torah, L'Shem Shemayim. Are we supposed to help them or are we supposed to daven?
So there isn't a blanket.
Ourselves.
So there isn't a blanket rule. That's what we're saying. We're saying is that sometimes the animal soul could come dressed up very frum and say, do this or do that. And the challenge of this world is that there's not one clear-cut answer.
Whatever you don't want is the truth.
Whatever Hashem wants is the truth.
So it's not necessarily what you don't want. Let's say I feel that Hashem would want me to teach this person. And I really want to, and I'd rather not daven. So therefore,
you have to be honest. You have to be very, very honest with yourself. Be very, very honest and not make up a story, but be truly honest and say, what does Hashem really want from me? What does Hashem really want from me? And sometimes we still don't know. And then you have to ask a Rav or a Mashpia to help you out.
And the larger thing, ask them out about
it's an example because you could probably make room for both, like 5 to 2 minutes and then like that.
You're not sure, you can always come.
That's also good. Yeah. But
I believe that we have to learn on our own. It's not a skill you like decision for someone else.
Some people look like that.
the advantage of consulting with someone else is that my animal soul only cares about me.
Right, so you're very, very not objective.
And my godly soul cares about you. So if we have a conversation, what should I do? It's 2 godly souls against 1 animal soul.
Yeah.
So you have more power. So when so look, it's not easy. We're saying that it's not easy, and we're trying to and we're gonna go around and around the bush.
Do you think every person has the potential to find the truth?
Yes, I think so. If you get in touch with what's inside, I think so.
We definitely have to dig deeper. We definitely have to dig deeper and not live on the surface. We have to really look at ourselves in the mirror, get a good look and understand look deeper and to see really where things are coming from.
I think it's surprising because someone's always just wanted to clear.
I know, but is that the right thing? You don't, because if you're not thinking, whatever.
I'm just taking care of yourself. But
A lot of
I mean,
times I'm
you're
always
trying to
like,
say that,
yeah,
so you have to, don't forget to
what about me?
Boundaries.
So
Codependency, that's all.
right, so I feel like that sometimes you have to listen to the me. And always.
Depends why. Is it the meat to the right
thing?
thing? Is it the meat to be able to give to my kids and serve Hashem?
You know, I guess.
Balance.
I feel like when we learned this, I feel like a lot of things I was raised with, maybe because I feel like I know like you just like certain things.
It's really that we want to
Sure.
like what, once a good
I was saying it, one class, I felt like, oh my gosh, it's familiar.
Wow.
But for example,
I don't know.
what's
Like
the
even
right
it's
thing,
about
to
making
be nice to
decisions.
yourself or to be
About,
nice to someone?
no, not specifically this
Oh.
class, in general, but about making decisions, like Bobby always used to say, like. Well, she always used to make you feel guilty if you chose the selfish way, like, if you decide to do something because it's better for you. Like she had a way of making you hot that it's wrong.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
I don't know if it's a good thing. I'm not saying
That
it's
is
a
very
good thing.
fair.
Well,
She wasn't raised there.
but she knows her. I don't know if it's a good thing or not.
But
I
you're,
think
you're,
it's rare.
no, but you're, she is.
Can't hear people.
You only have something good, it's fine.
Yeah, a compliment.
Some things, not that my mother was talking about, like, there's something.
But I think if you're taking care of yourself, so that, if you're taking care of yourself as an end in itself, it's not good. You're taking care of yourself so that you can serve God, so that you can be there for the people that need
So
that.
that
That's
is
why
why
you
you
have
have
to visualize, because sometimes you can't, your cup is empty, you can't.
Right.
That's
You
why when
can't
they
just
post,
to fill your cup, then by helping one person, you're doing something wrong, because you need this time for yourself, right now.
in order to go home.
That's why you can't ask for Shiloh, should I have it? It's your
That's
personal
what it
needs,
means, like, it's not.
it's common
It's
sense,
a selfish decision to make.
but it's not, because once your cup is full, and
Otherwise
you go
you're
home, and
resentful
you're a better wife, you're a
Right.
better mother, you're a better
Are
neighbor.
you filling the cups, you go home, go take a bed and just sleep, and it's like, this is what I like, and this.
Or it's your own job, maybe you don't have any company, and then you eat the shoe hoping that someone would sit next to you when, I don't know.
Honestly, I'm saying Lakewood is coming up a lot.
Right, I think you're a little bit talking about what would happen in a hibachi. A kid would come with a shoe.
Like,
Like,
yeah,
but
that's all around the script, but it's not really.
Right, that's 100% true, we need a different example.
Okay.
Relatable, but
Yes.
it's fine.
Okay.
How about you know, go out of your comfort zone and go find Charles and Granite?
He said that's the right thing.
So I just want to say what that another clue is about, am I, okay, and you could argue this as well, but another clue is just like okay, so we're going to talk about the godly soul in a second, and we're going to say that the godly soul, where does it rest? Primarily in the brain and in the right part of the heart, in the right side of the heart. Which is free of blood because it's pumping the blood out, right? So if it's all about me, filling myself up, then chances are it's the animal soul. If it's about giving the blood to the rest of the body, which is where the godly soul rests, in the right side of the heart, then chances are that it's the godly soul talking.
I mean, in terms of that Havas Hashem, let's say, like it's an emotion in the heart, but it's in the right side. I'm trying to think how that plugs in.
Okay.
So like it's a love
More about
that's.
getting emotional. Getting emotional, that's.
That's Tila or like
That's like a football.
I don't see anything spiritual, but
Like what is that? That's not, that's not.
emotional, but I hope not.
Yeah, you can get very emotional. Like I always tell my kids.
She's not saying that.
No, that's what I mean.
Cry, then it's the problem, what do you?
I'm not talking about my husband, I said by a chapa.
Okay,
This is
so
very
you-
interesting to link what you were saying before,
Yeah.
the right side is the lungs, it's more also spiritual breathing, and all that, and it connects to what you're saying, that like, it's connected to that higher godly, you know, and
Absolutely.
Also, you can take the
Or
negative
what-
emotion maybe and drive it.
So interesting.
Conversation, right, also.
See, is that motion, yeah, like, oh, it's really the music, technically, that's making.
Yeah, that's
Whatever,
what I
is
think, I
that,
don't think.
is
it's
that yet, like, that's nothing, like, come on, it feels so good.
I think it depends on the person. Some people are more cerebral, some are a little bit more emotional, not like a.
Right, but cerebral is where the nefesh case lies.
True, meaning even like you should be accessing that more. I
No,
don't
just
know,
as
I-
a source.
I feel
That's
like when I was in high school, I also used to like judge the people that were like davening by mincha, like stopping such a show off. I think as life goes on and everyone has their challenges, it's a little easier to cry, even if you're that cerebral person.
100%, but we're talking about here from a Tanya perspective.
Oh,
If
okay.
it's- If it's coming from the brain
fits
and
the
logic, then it's from the nefesh elokah.
Okay, so let's talk about the nefesh elokah. Okay. We have two mitzvahs, there are two mitzvahs or one mitzvah and one way of serving Hashem. One is, we all know that we have to love Hashem. V'ahavta es Hashem elekecha. Okay? We have to love Hashem. And then there's something else. It says, Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha. Serve Hashem with the joy. Okay? Now, Torah is telling me that I have to love Hashem and I have to serve Hashem with the joy.
Those are emotions.
Okay, those are emotions. And if I tell you, I can't tell you, be happy. I command you to be happy. I command you to love me. I command you. Now, your favorite flavor of ice cream is vanilla. Now, from today on, your favorite ice cream is your favorite flavor has to be chocolate. You can't change a person what they like.
And also,
So-
by the way, emotions do originate in the brain. It wouldn't exist in
That's what she's about to say,
I'm sorry.
right?
Yes.
I hear that.
Okay. So basically, the approach of the godly soul, the approach of the godly soul.
Brain.
How am I going to love Hashem? How am I going to have simcha? It's something that I have to contemplate, meditate, think about, create. That, and then,
Even in a very physical sense, people that have strokes, whatever, maybe their personality gets changed because of brain changes, nothing to do with like real
No.
emotional changes because the brain is
But what we're discussing is what happens the other way. You're talking about the moed shayla.
I'm not even talking about Melchizedek Lev. I just want to know.
You can actually change emotions, you know. actively.
So Melchizedek Lev is going to come up and we're going to discuss it. But
Not
right
this,
now,
not
right now, all I want to know is who's talking. Is it my godly soul or my animal soul? Now they're fighting. Okay, then we're going to talk about self-control. We're not there yet. First, we have to figure out who's talking. That's all we want to figure out today is who's talking. So let's talk about an emotion or two. We'll talk about love. We'll talk about joy or happiness. Let's talk about these emotions, and it's the same word. We're going to see how does the godly soul define love and happiness. And how does the animal soul define love and happiness? A guy walks into a restaurant and he sees a man speaking to the waiter, and he overhears the man tell the waiter, "I love fish." Now he's very excited because his whole mission on this earth is to save the whales. So now he's looking for opportunity to go and speak to him that it's so excited that he has someone that there's someone here at this restaurant that has the same interest as him. 5 minutes later, right? 5 minutes later, the waiter comes back with a steaming hot plate of salmon, and the guy that loves the whales, he's all frustrated. He says, "You don't love fish. You love yourself. You love what it feels like when you eat fish. You don't really love fish. That's not true love for fish. You love yourself." And this is the story. This is the story of the animal soul. And this word love, b'chlal, it's a problem that we say. I could say I love chocolate, and I could say I love my kids, and I love my spouse. Why are we using the same word love for something like chocolate and for something like my kids?
Minus freedom is like fire on
That's not same source.
it. Yeah, he's like marriage. I'm saying, like, you ever heard him talk about it?
It's amazing.
This is exactly what he said. That people do like love it.
I love you, right?
Right.
I love you, or you I love.
Right.
What do I want to be married to because it makes me feel good.
Right.
All the things that you do for me, that's love.
Right.
That's
That's
selfish.
love.
That right, right? It's I love you. It's all about me. What makes me feel good? I feel good when you're around. That's 100% selfish. That's not a marriage, right? So do we love our spouse and do we love our children? Do we truly love them, or do we love what they do for us? Or do we love the nachas that we get from them? In a healthy relationship, there's unconditional love. But in an unhealthy relationship, if you align with me, if you listen to me, if you follow my footsteps, then I love you. But really, I'm loving myself because it makes me look good or makes me feel good that my children are so well behaved. But if you don't follow my footsteps and you don't give me nachas and you don't, and you embarrass me, then all of a sudden what? In an unhealthy relationship, then I don't love you because it's not doing anything for me. So then again, it's all selfish. Do I love my kids or do I love myself? And for me, it looks good to have, all my children in beautiful matching Shabbos clothes. Why am I doing it? Okay, so the Nefesh Habamis says, I love this restaurant, I love this caterer, I love this handbag, I love this comedian, I love this exotic location, I love this, this vacation. But what is it really? It's really, I love me. I love myself. And all these things make me feel good. And therefore, I'm going to justify why I need it. That is the language of the animal soul is I love myself. And therefore, I love what it feels like when I eat this or go here or spend time with this person. And that is the animal soul. It's not evil. It's just very, very selfish versus the godly soul. The godly soul, when it's able to express itself, what does it look like? It appears when the godly soul loves Hashem. And you're able to see a love for Hashem. That's when the godly soul is in control. And it's a strong love. It's a love that's like a flame of fire. And how does the godly soul operate? The godly soul focuses on things that will arouse his or her love for Hashem. Because there is no switch. There is no switch to turn on real love. Real love for Hashem and real love in general, real love for our children, real love for our spouse is not what they do for me. Real love for a spouse and for children comes when we think about them and choose to focus on the good things about them. We're always thinking about our spouse. The question is, what are we feeding our brain? Oh, why can't he? He was so irresponsible, la la la. Or wow. Look, concentrate, focus on his talents, focus on the things that, as I told you, I bought a new mixer and my husband tabled it. I was so appreciative. I was so appreciative. It wasn't a chore that I was looking forward to doing. And he tabled it for me. I was like, wow, that's so special. And focus on that. That was there was zero selfish motive involved. There was nothing in it for him. It was just to do me a favor. Wow. And it's something simple to focus on that. And when we focus on our children and focus on Hashem, and what happens is we create by contemplating and feeding and choosing what to think about and contemplating on the greatness of Hashem. That is how we create a fiery feeling of love in our heart. It's not Hashem, if you do this, then I'll love you. And if you don't, and you disappoint me, then I don't know where my love is today. That's very conditional.
We're human.
We're human. We're human, but we're trying
Well, it's not good, that
I
we
think
work
when
out.
kids are so big, it's just easier. And the husband's like the most charming and helpful and whatever.
Then is it, but then is that real love, or is it self?
Ah.
I don't know. so that means-
Or even
But
when you
does
get
it always
that
have to
heart
be
inside,
so
love
hard?
Hashem, is that real love Hashem, or you're so happy that he gave you a heart?
Right, probably, so that's no like, you know, TYH.
Music of times,
What times my father.
Really not to back off sometimes.
Someone was yesterday when I was teaching this. So someone said that she knows someone who has a lot of anxiety. Whenever she feels anxiety, she goes outside and just looks up at the sky, just to look up at the sky and to look up at the sky and think about Hashem. And that's what it means to literally just to stop and think about Hashem. Hashem is in control. Hashem is in charge of the world. Bring Hashem in instead of zoom out. Zoom out. Look at the bigger picture. Right this second, it might feel like a bump, a bump on the road. But zoom out. And Hashem is all powerful, and Hashem's holding my hand, and Hashem knows what He's doing, and there's some kind of purpose, there's some kind of silver lining here, and to think about Hashem, and to create emotion. Not just that I'm waiting to feel, I'm waiting for it to hit me, I'm waiting to feel, but rather that you're not just passive, and the feeling hit me. But rather that we're not waiting. I'm not waiting all of a sudden I'm not waiting to feel inspired. I'll go to a class, I'll go to a concert, and then I'll feel inspired, but rather to do the work.
That's so deep because the whole world is busy saying like, whether it's with love or with anything, it's like, if I'm attracted, if I feel, and you're saying that's not true. True is what you cognitively build and tell yourself every day. And then you end up loving your spouse, your kids, whatever, because you're constantly just.
So think.
You can date both ways. I know someone that met someone and really like she didn't like feel, but like everything was so right for her. She's married now for 7 years. She's so happy.
Wow.
And she got engaged with him. Like, okay, fine, it makes sense for me. I don't know if that's the right thing or the wrong thing. But then she created. It took her time. Serious. She walked through it like the whole China. She worked on creating herself.
Wow.
And she knew that he was a great person. And she knew that he was right for her. And he's going to help her grow and whatever. She's happy married.
Wow. So I'll tell you what's going in the dating. I mean, this wasn't going on when I was dating, but today the dating, the way it works in the whatever.
Infatuation first, and then.
No, the thing, what's going on? What's going on? I'll tell you from my perspective right now. Okay, so the people are dating, right? And I think that one thing is that whoever it is, first of all, I'm waiting to feel something, and you're waiting for a miracle. You're waiting to feel who knows what in order to make this commitment. And then the Shadchanim today encourage, I don't know if it's whatever, encourage, I don't know if it's just the girls, whatever. Buy something, bring cookies, and they're telling you they're telling you bring cookies, and then it's bring lunch, and then it's what's the process? What's the process? What's going on? The girl is waiting to feel. The girl, maybe the guys have an easier time feeling. I don't know. I'm saying whatever, not expressing themselves, but feeling okay. The guy is ready, and the girl is waiting to feel who knows what. Before she commits, right? So what the Shadchanim say is bring something, bring cookies, bring lunch. Because what happens is when you have to create, invest, okay? The guy, he has to rent the car and et cetera, but the girl also has to invest and bring and think and plan and because all that is creating.
The showing really makes a lot of sense. That's how I got married. I'm just saying, but because it's not about the I'm feeling the connection.
I think it's really just a matter of culture, and if you grow
Sometimes
up trusting your parents to do that more than yourself, you're not
No,
really
it's
be less comfortable
it's
dating.
about the paper. It's more like, does it?
So I'll agree with you that today dating is a lot more difficult than it was by me because why? Because we're so sunk into Olam Hazeh and we have such
ourselves.
Yeah, and the what the world around you tells you, what the expectation is, I have to feel who knows what, and I don't know if that's realistic.
For being married 10 years.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's realistic. You met this guy however many hours, and you're expecting to feel. See, you want to feel true love. What do you want to feel? You want to if. Well, I'll tell you what happened with me when I saw my husband. The first time I saw him, within 60 seconds,
You know, you're
I was like, I want to marry him. Was that mature? It was not mature. That's retarded, right?
Well, that's weird because all the hard
Your husband feels the same way, and then later you were engaged.
No, it took him a little longer. But what I'm saying is that is not a nefesh elokis approach. That's completely a nefesh habamis approach. He's charismatic. He dresses well. And I'm done. But that is a nefesh habamis approach. That's a nefesh habamis approach. That's not true love.
You need a little of that for marriage because otherwise,
Yes.
constantly like snores and annoys you. You have to be able to refer.
100%. So we have to let the dating, we have to let the dating thing play itself out. And as long as they need, we have to be patient as parents and watch the scene unfold and not count how many dates and let them do their thing. But never. Okay, so true love is not something that I'm going to wait to feel, but it's something that I have to work on and create and invest.
The real approach is you could marry anyone, because you can look for the positive and learn.
But it's a lot harder.
It's a lot harder, but you can learn.
This is a little bit what my friend did. He was such a good boy, you know, and she didn't know that he's like a redhead and he's not so good looking.
It's I'm ready.
No, I'm not that. No, and anyways, redheads can be horrible. That's not what I'm saying. It happens to be like, you know.
No, it's a real thing.
She was halfway bald. I'm serious. Like, she really was not into. And she literally, she very logical person. So you could do it like that. And then go ask her.
Who was that Tanya with the emperor's wife, and she matched up her slaves and her lady slaves, and the next day everyone came with like broken arms and legs and everything. It's kasha krisamsa for a reason.
Yeah. It is kasha kriyas yamsuf, and it is kasha kriyas yamsuf, and there is a leap of faith that you have to take, and you're not going to know everything about the person, and you're not going to feel who knows what. It's not because, and if you do feel, it's not true love.
But it's something that you can do.
Yes, so you have to have that you have to have you have to be able to marry them and be comfortable with them, and there has to be mashichas halev, which is what we call correct.
But now it's like
yeah. So that is this person. Life is a journey. Is this person who I want to journey, to go on the journey of life with, and that is the most important decision I have to make in my life. But if I'm just waiting to feel, and I'm not willing to invest anything until I feel.
It's a brilliant switch. It's saying invest first, see if you feel. If you still don't feel, okay, but don't wait to feel before you actually have that help. Putting in
zero.
And that's why the nefesh elokis, it's pumping out the blood to the rest of the body. It's where can I give? And the shadchanim are encouraging the girls, because in today's day and age, everyone the expectation is I am going to. Prince Charming is going to come on a white horse and sweep me off my heels, and that is not necessarily a Torah approach. And how can we change that? The change that is, we're so used to that guy has to do all the investing. He has to, pay for everything and la la la. But when the girl invests and purchases something and starts giving,
I think I remember reading it's because when you invest, you put in a part of yourself, something or someone else, kind of loving that part of yourself or something else, but it doesn't matter because
if I like the guy,
out of yourself and that's shape the rest of the other things, person,
yeah, and that will give me true love. That will give me true love, not just animal soul, because the thing with the animal soul is that it's never going to be satisfied. It's never going to be satisfied. And even if I'm satisfied, and even if I am satisfied, it's very temporary. And tomorrow I'm going to say, oh, but I really need this X, Y, and Z more, and that's the same thing it's the same thing with simcha.
I don't know, yeah. I remember like leaving at the Shahayim Shabbat, and I'm like, is that what everyone's waiting
He's like,
for?
what's bothering you? I'm like, there's nothing bothering me.
Everyone's
Why
waiting
should I
for
marry
that.
you?
Some people,
Brothers to serve, I'm like, but like, nothing's bothering me, but it doesn't mean I have to marry him. Not like, I was like.
That was my biggest problem.
he was a day younger
It
and
was
year.
a day, it wasn't the day, it's like I thought I'm next on five.
She said she always wanted to marry somebody. Yeah,
Same here.
Wow.
She didn't want.
Just like
16 years later, it's
like
cute.
this.
16 years ago, it felt like a big hurdle that we had to overcome.
So there are, I'm saying there are expectations, and
Again, you really put the Shem Shemayim Hashem in the picture.
100%.
And I'm doing this, you stop most of these things fall away.
And that's the only way that you could leap into marriage. And you say, listen, I'm here to serve Hashem. I'm here to serve Hashem. I don't know everything about this person.
It's not.
Right, and then when there is a bump on the road that I'm doing this. This is my avodah. This is the other half of my soul. This is my mission. This is my work.
Well, she probably got married.
I was 18, I was saying, so my husband was like 4 years old, and maybe there was one adult in the marriage, because I was the newborn.
Now let's visit happiness for a couple of minutes and talk about the difference between happiness and simcha, and see what the animal soul's definition of happiness is, and what the godly soul. Yes.
So I always had this, trying to understand, why is the simcha even an objective in serving Hashem? Shouldn't it be like, whatever we need to do to serve Hashem, whatever we feel is irrelevant?
Hashem says, "If there's Hashem b'simcha," He doesn't just want us to serve Him; He wants us to serve Him with the joy.
But why is it why is our feelings relevant to our
It's very relevant. It's very relevant. If you make dinner for your husband because you have to,
yeah, you just do what you need to do. Why is it?
if you do it because you have to, versus if you do it because you want to, it's a very big difference. It's a very big difference. If the girl brings the cookies to the date because the shadchan said so,
She really wanted to please them.
then you got accomplished nothing. Hashem wants our heart. He doesn't just want our. He doesn't just want our hands.
I know, but Hashem is not even. So like,
Hashem created the world because He wanted our service.
He doesn't need our happiness, he wants us to have it.
It's a whole different way of serving. It's a whole different way of serving when you're serving with happiness.
And the way it's like, take this thing in the way, so you do what Hashem wants.
You need to do regardless, but.
The love,
You're not feeling happy doesn't mean you don't feel pleasant.
The
You
lo-
do it regardless.
right? And the love and the fear is what lifts the mitzvah up. When you just daven and you just say the words can't go anywhere.
Davening makes you miserable as fuck, davening.
No,
But you-
That's how I feel a little bit, like, too bad.
But the davening, there was a
100%, but if it doesn't feel no on to you, yeah.
there was a rabbi walking to a shul. There was a rabbi. There was a rabbi who walked into a shul, and the shul was empty, and he said, "I'm claustrophobic. I have to get out of here." What was the problem? It was a tzaddik, and all the davening was all stuck in the shul. It didn't go up to Hashem because there was no emotion with it. We're going to learn in Tanya that love and fear are the wings that carry the davening up. If we daven without emotion, the davening stays here. If you say Maida'ani without any feeling, the Maida'ani can't go anywhere. But eventually, one day when you'll say Maida'ani with feeling, it will take up all the Maida'anis that you ever said. It can't go anywhere without the love and fear.
So she always said it puts a woman, right? It's 0, and then when you do something, it puts it on.
That's nothing, you still should, you still do it, but you.
It can't go up.
Yes.
You should, no, but I'm not telling you you should have married, but I'm saying it's still worth something. Huh?
That's it.
Okay, let's talk about simcha for a few minutes.
Much more belitlish soul.
Yeah.
Okay,
Pretty nice.
Okay, let's talk about happiness for a minute. There was an individual who went to his psychologist and he was very depressed and he was very sad. And the psychologist said, "Look, I don't know what to tell you. We tried this medicine, we tried that medicine, nothing seems to work. I don't know, but I'll tell you something that has helped a few of my patients in the recent past. There's a circus, and there's one of the acts of the circus. There's Tiki the Clown, and if you go watch Tiki the Clown is an amazing guy and an amazing clown, and he gets everyone to laugh, and maybe it will help you." He says, "Doc, I'm really sorry, it's not going to work." Doctor says, "What do you mean it's not going to work? You didn't try it. You can't tell me it's not going to work if you didn't try." He says, "Doc, it's not going to work." And they were arguing back and forth. And he says, "I'm Tiki the Clown." So happiness is not just about laughing. If I laugh, it doesn't mean that I'm happy. And if I cry, right? If I cry, it doesn't mean necessarily that I'm sad. Like, as you said, sometimes you could have by a wedding, and people are crying crying by a simcha. And sometimes you could have someone who's experiencing tremendous loss, and they laugh. Sometimes a person they just laugh when they're experiencing tremendous loss. So happy comes from the word happenstance, which means it just happens to be, which is absolutely not a type of value. And this thing that I have to be happy, it has become we're expected to achieve happiness in this day and age. I don't know that, before, our great grandparents, that was something that they felt that they had to achieve, happiness. So as long as they're happy.
They're too busy like just surviving.
So exactly.
Look at the pictures from 100 years ago. And the pictures.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Wow. So the animal says, "I need a whole lot of stuff to be happy. And I need to upgrade that stuff all the time, because after a while, the stuff doesn't make me happy anymore. And if I have $100, then I need $200. And as soon as I have $200, I need $400. It's a bottomless pit." A kid says, "Oh, I can't wait to get into primary. The second they're in primary, I can't wait to get into elementary school. As soon as I'm elementary, I can't wait to get to high school. As soon as I'm in high school, I can't wait to get a degree. As soon as I get a degree, I can't wait to have a family. As soon as I have a family, I can't wait for the kids to move out of the house." So right? So what's going on? This is a nefesh habamis. Nefesh habamis says, I want what is going to make me feel good. It's going to make me feel happy right this second. It's very elusive. It's a moving target, and you're never going to achieve it. It's a bottomless pit of need. The nefesh elokis doesn't wait to feel happy or to become joyous, but rather the nefesh elokis' approach is I am going to create joy. I need to serve Hashem all the time, and I need to be joyous when I serve Hashem all the time. So I always have to be happy. How am I going to do this? No matter what the circumstance is, my job is to create happiness. And how is that going to happen? The same way that I create love. It's through meditation, realization, awareness, perspective. And what do we concentrate on? What do we think about? I have a nefesh elokis inside of me. I have a power of Hashem inside of me, and I have access to it. My neshama is a direct line, a direct connection to Hashem. And the only time that I am depressed or I feel glum is because I'm out of touch. I'm out of touch with my nefesh elokis, with my connection to Hashem. And when I concentrate and I apply my mind to how great Hashem is, and that I'm so lucky that I'm born a Yid and that I have a connection to Hashem, then a person who's in touch with Hashem will not live with depression, Because wherever we go in our life, there's always going to be people that are going to complain and say this is rotten and this is bad and that's bad. As the saying goes, the telegram comes, start worrying, details to follow. It's always bad. It's always bad. There's always something to worry about. But that's a Nefesh Habamis approach. But the Nefesh Elokis approach is that I'm going to think about Hashem, create my own joy, create the happiness, create the love, knowing that I have a relationship with Hashem. And this brings tremendous joy when I'm aware of this relationship. And it's a choice. It's a choice. I can choose what to focus on. I could choose what to think about. And then I will achieve real love and real simcha. I have to find what's valuable, what the most valuable thing on this earth is to have a relationship with Hashem. And then I have to pursue it rather than to wait for something to hit me, to change me, to talk to me. And the same is with and the same is with a shidduch. I think that if a girl sees someone that shares the same values as her and shares the same perspective and the same goals and the same mission, instead of sitting and saying, I have to wait to feel this, Hollywood, whatever love, rather than that is to say, this is a relationship that I want to pursue. And I'm going to work on it. And what could I do to create the joy and to create the love, rather than just sit back and wait for the love to just appear, wait for a miracle, wait for a lightning to strike. But rather at least to take the time to sit and think about this guy's qualities and to think about, do I see myself? Can I see myself in 10 years from now living with this individual, rather than just saying, oh, where's the love? Where's the love? It's not, I don't know where I heard this, but not from a Jewish source. Someone is dating more than, someone is friendly with or dating with and knows a few guys and says, who should I marry? The advice that was given was, stop and think. Imagine yourself married in 10 years from now, and the door opens and your husband comes in. Who is it? So to take the time to use the brain, and to see the good qualities, rather than just wait for the love to feel.
Beginning, which is trying to understand with decisions. I guess it's like the logic driven.
When it comes to making a decision, we always have to ask ourselves, what's the bottom line? Is the bottom line, I love myself? How does this make me feel? Or is the bottom line, how is this going to make Hashem feel? And am I serving Hashem? And to always to focus on Hashem.
What's your name?
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
That's why I added no.
That's what I told you.
I think I was added, no.
Okay, so here's a very good question.